Welcome, greetings, and salutations. My name is Ciara, and I'll be guiding us through our first pilot episode of Grand Rising Yoga. You can expect this flow to be very gentle and restorative while staying grounded. And given the season we're entering called winter, this is a good reminder for us to really just slow down and take our time. So when you're ready, go ahead and find a seated space and plant your feet to the earth and wrap your arms around your knees and show yourself some gratitude, some love. Maybe include some slow and deliberate neck rolls, side to side, only if you're ready. This is meant for you when you first rise. Can the head go behind you? It might be a little vulnerable. So starting from shoulder to shoulder and seeing where you're at in this space. Always reminding yourself to connect with breath, finding that intimacy, that flow, that groove that moves us throughout our day. We'll go ahead and slowly bring our arms out in front of us, planting one behind our back and the other, rolling down onto our forearms until we're on our back, drawing our knees in towards our chest and finding some motion left and right, releasing out our lower back, drifting the head ear to ear, getting into both hemispheres of the brain, and rolling out your ankles and stretching through your toes. And slowly go ahead and release your feet so they plant onto the earth. Knees are bent here. And we're going to find some pelvic tilts. So pressing low back into earth, and as you breathe in, tilting away from earth so that low back begins to arch. And as you exhale, pressing low back into earth. Breathing in, lifting away. Exhale, pressing back in. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Next breath in, extend your left leg out in front of you and gently twist your hips side to side. As you breathe in, draw your right knee in towards your chest, interlacing the fingers on top of your knee or extending the leg up towards skyward and finding a bind behind or no bind at all. And we're just going to begin to open up our hip by drawing circles with our knee clockwise and counterclockwise. Incorporating the foot, rolling out through the ankle, stretching through the toes, and flexing and arching. And breathing in, begin to release your left hand out to the side of you and open up your hip to the right. Your depth, your preference. The body tells you where it wants to go. Flexing the right toes towards the shin. Breathing in and out through your nose. And as we breathe in, we draw our knee to center. Switch out the hands so the right arm extends out to the side as you begin to cross your knee over towards your belly button. Your depth, your perception. Maybe the knee travels further towards the earth or it stays lifted halfway like mine. The hips are stacked. The shoulders can lift for a moment and soften back down. From here, we begin to explore a space called half frog. So with that right knee still bent, you're going to roll over onto your belly and extend your arms out to the side, bend at the elbows or stack, creating a cushion for your head to rest. And breathing in and out through your nose, releasing deeper, letting go of tension, especially in the left glute. And holding this space for 5 to 7 breaths here. When and if you're ready, begin to gently prop yourself up onto your forearms so the chest and torso lift, and spreading the fingers wide, plugging into each and every single pad one by one. We call this half Sphinx pose. Imagine your hips drawing to your elbows to extend and lengthen your heart space even further, higher towards the sky. Rolling those shoulders back behind you, sinking the hips deep into earth. Remember when we found supine twist just a few minutes earlier? We're going to do that same here from this space. So if you like, go ahead and extend your right arm out in front of you, elbows still rooted, and thread the left arm behind your elbow. And we're going to open up our right arm like a clock until it reaches out to the side of us. Finding those hips stacked again and lifting those shoulders away from the earth and melting back in. Breathing deep. If this is too much for you, you can always lift your knee up or use a blanket or prop. I should have prefaced that at the beginning, but any tools or props you need, more than ideal for your practice. Breathing in and out. And if and when you're ready, or staying here if this feels particularly good, we're going to gently release this asana by lifting our chin to center if it's not already, and floating our knees to center as the feet plant. And windshield washing our knees side to side, releasing and counterposing the work we've just done as we move through the other side. So extending the right leg out in front of you, drawing the left knee in on an inhale and interlacing the fingers. You decide, on top, behind, or no hands, arms at all. Tracing that knee in circles, clockwise and counterclockwise. Noticing how this side may require different work, not judging or comparing what just happened on the other. And peeling your knee open out to the left side of you. Flexing toes towards the shin, again dependent on where you want that depth to be, and listening to your body. Taking in rich breaths and letting go. As we prepare to find our supine twist, draw the knee back to center, left arm long, right hand grabs a hold, crossing over towards belly button space, twisting open. Perhaps exploring a bit here. Extending the leg out to the side or lengthening it in front of you, or drawing the knee in closer towards the chest. And finding that half frog, begin to roll over on your belly, finding your expression of your arms. And it's okay to be off of your mat. If anything, it's discovery and getting out of your comfort zone, but it is your practice. So if you feel more at ease shimmying yourself back onto the mat, feel free. Staying here for a few more breaths, and then we'll begin to explore our half sphinx pose, asana. When you're ready, slowly, gently begin to prop yourself up onto your forearms. And because my body was requiring something different in this space, I began to press into my hands to lift my forearms away and drift side to side as I tent my fingertips and lower back down to half sphinx as I prepare for our supine twist. So extending the left arm out in front of us, the elbow still grounded to earth. Preparing for thread the needle as that right arm sweeps behind the elbow, lowering down onto my shoulder and sweeping the left arm behind me and over like a clock as my hips stack. What is the body requiring of you? Do you need to lift the knee away or deepen? Whatever it may be, just stay with breath, always. That breath expands within your body, providing more oxygen to your organs, the extremities, your fingers, your feet. The breath maintains your calm, your stillness. Breathe. Usually we would return our chin back to center and float the knees up, but again, my body wants to go somewhere else, so I slide my left leg underneath my right knee, so they're stacked, and I stay here for a few more breaths. Inhale, lifting the knees back to center, feet rooted to earth, and chin back to chest, flat on back. Acknowledging both sides that we've just worked through. And drifting the knees side to side, left and right, like windshield washers, wipers. And we're gonna prepare for a modified bridge next. So when you're ready, drawing your knees back to center, planting the feet. And we're gonna revisit lifting our pelvis away from the earth and plugging our low back in. Inhale, lift the pelvis, and exhale, press back down. Go ahead and sweep your fingertips towards your heels as we prepare for bridge. And as you breathe in, lift the hips away from the earth. Very important to watch your belly rise and fall. And from this space, see if you can drift your head back behind you, allowing the shoulders to melt in a bit deeper here. If you like, you can find a bind by rolling down one shoulder, followed by the other, and interlacing your fingers. That's going to allow the hips just to lift a tad bit taller. Your breath becomes more constricted with your chin tucked in towards your chest. So ignite your breath in and out through your nose, and we'll hold this space for 3 to 5 breaths. And if you found a bind, begin to release your fingertips and release your arms out to the side of you. And taking another breath in, slowly drifting the hips up. And as you exhale, begin to release the hips, enjoying this descend and the releasing of the spine. And once the hips hover, begin to sway left and right, side to side, until eventually you come back down to earth, releasing the tailbone and letting out a generous sigh. Allow yourself to be here for a few breaths, grounding back to earth, releasing of your hips. And as you breathe in, draw both knees in towards your chest. Preparing for a happy baby, you can tuck your hands behind your knees and bend the knees towards your armpits, finding some motion and movement here, side to side. Perhaps those hands reach up towards the top of your ankles, or maybe you even get that grasp with the edges of your feet. Again, drawing your knees towards your armpits and allowing your body to sway left and right. If this feels particularly good, stay or begin to explore what it might feel like to extend one leg out. Drawing back into center. And inhale, pressing out the other leg. And make this your own. Honor the ask of your body. Maybe you even tilt your head side to side when you extend one leg out. Explore, discover. Allowing your breath to be your guide here in this space. In and out through your nose. And slowly go ahead and release your hands to your knees as they come back to center. And you're going to extend your arms up towards skyward with your palms facing and flexing your toes towards your shins. Also, it should be noted that your knees are stacked above your hips. And as you breathe in, you're just going to lift those hips away, knees towards elbows. And you're going to create this momentum, maybe even rolling out your wrist and stretching through your fingers. But those hips lift away and they don't have to go far. And eventually we're going to tuck our hands back behind our knees as we rock and roll the entirety of our spine. So trusting that you have your own back. Find that space one more time, and we'll meet in a seated meditation with our palms resting on our knees, facing towards skyward, receiving the energy that is meant for you. And allowing the eyes to soften and close, rolling the shoulders back. Notice how the breath moves through your body now that the backside is exposed. As you breathe in, bring your hands to heart center and lift them up overhead. Gaze follows for a gentle, slight back bend here. Lifting up tall through your torso. Breathe, let the rib cage expand. And come back to neutral as you exhale. Next breath in, lift. left. And exhale, plant your right hand as you tilt over for a side bend, either gazing at the eye of your elbow or down off the right shoulder. We'll stay here for longer than you would in a normal class, and then bring it back up. Inhale. Exhale, left hand plants out to the side of you as you reach up and over with your right hand. Where's your gaze? Elbow or off your opposite shoulder. And with your right arm, open up that shoulder so you can exude the chest and lift the heart. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead, and exhale, side bend. Right hand releases, lifting up through the left arm. And you're going to begin to find this at the measure of your own breath, side to side. Every inhale lifts you. Each exhale deepens this space, opening up that shoulder behind you, shining the heart to the chest. And if you want to find a little more sensation, you can lower down to your elbow, your forearm, seeing how that feels, staying there for a few breaths if it feels good. If it's not, then prop yourself back onto your hand, finding that motion side to side. And to go a little further, you can go ahead and sweep the arm out in front of you and lift up towards skyward. And as you exhale, sweep and extend your arm out in front of you as you rise on the inhale, lifting. As you see what I'm doing, I'm lifting up, and then I just take 3 beats. Inhale, lift and rise, lowering down to my elbow, my forearm, and repeating it on the other side. So sweeping the extended arm out in front, planting it out to the side, finding that side bend and lifting up with each breath in, and then traveling over to the other side. You can begin to find your movement, your groove. And when and if you're done, go ahead and reach the arms out in front of you for a seated forward fold. Hinging at the hips, forehead may or may not touch. Might be a good idea to have a block here. Letting that spine decompress. And slowly we'll begin to prop ourselves back up onto our hands, arms extended as you walk those hands back behind your hips. And we're going to prepare for a modified fish pose. So your fingers are facing forward, or you can drift them out to the side of you. And as you breathe in, lift your chest. And perhaps the chin lifts away. And again, your body's going to tell you where it wants to go. This is a vulnerable space. Our throat chakra is open, as well as our heart and our sacral. If your head back behind you is too much, bring your chin back towards your chest and breathe. Slowly go ahead and bring your chin back towards your chest. Really tuck it in and walk your hands up your knees for a counter pose. And we'll begin to roll our neck out. So drawing your ear to the shoulder. Maybe it floats behind you to the other ear. Chin down towards your chest. Again, you can begin to find motion and movement here on your own. So maybe you travel your chin towards your shoulder and notice where that stretch happens in your neck. Being very gentle with our neck space, not forcing anything. And deep breaths in and out through your nose. Return your head back to center, and as you breathe in, open your arms back behind you. Those shoulder blades kiss, and as you exhale, tilt back, bring the tops of the wrists together. Inhale, open the arms wide. Receive and exhale, tilt back, wrists come together. Find this at the measure of your own breath, in and out through your nose. This is a different way to express our cat-cow. Usually you see this on all fours, your hands and knees, but we can also find it in this seated space. As most of the work is coming from the upper body, we also are working out our pelvic floor, tilting and lifting, and exhale, pressing back in, just like we did much earlier. A few more breaths in and out, opening up the arms and closing them as you exhale. And eventually we'll return back to our seated meditation. Releasing hands to your knees, and as we move through our shoulders, draw one shoulder over to the opposite knee, completing your circle, coming back to seated. Breathe in. And exhale, sweep your shoulder over to the opposite knee, completing the circle, coming back up. And try this a few times. And what we do on one side, we do to the other. So bringing yourself back to center when you're ready, maybe leaning back and switching out the legs. And see what happens on this side. So breathe in, sitting tall as you exhale. Hinge forward, release the shoulders. And just moving around in a circle, guided by our breath, in and out, through our nose. Eventually coming back to a seated space and rolling out our wrist and stretching out through the fingers. Beginning to find our last and final posture or asana, child's pose. You're going to bear weight on the right or left side until those hips sink towards the heels and you extend your arms out in front of you, spreading those fingertips, pressing into each and every single pad. Allowing the low back to lengthen, tailbone towards the heels. The knees can be together or apart. You decide. It's going to target different parts of the body. And forehead may or may not touch. If it does, give yourself a gentle eyebrow massage, left and right. And allow yourself to just be and breathe. This is the last posture, but if you like to match my flow and what I'm doing, you can stay here or eventually begin to prop yourself up onto your hands, walking them back until they rest on your thighs for hero's pose, allowing those knees to come together. If this is too much on your knees, go ahead and find seated meditation. You've been there before. And lift the shoulders up and away from the ears. And we'll close out by bringing our hands to heart center. Pressing your thumbs in towards your sternum. Lifting tall through your torso. As you breathe in, go ahead and lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, gently press the thumbs towards your third eye, the space between the eyebrows, to your lips and to your heart as you bow your head forward in gratitude. The light and love in me honors and respects and sees that same light and love in you. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to my first pilot episode. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll be back for more. Namaste.